Today I'm going to be working on this PlayStation 5. This has got a power on then straight off issue. It's had a prior repair attempt and I've got to cover this bit because it's got some customer contact details on, but it basically says on the problem description that it powers on and then straight off, and it's had the liquid metal changed, some screws are missing and the fan is wrong. So, with that being said, my name's Hakko, I'm an electronics technician. I mainly work on games consoles, but I do work on other stuff as well. So if you enjoy that kind of thing and you want to see more, then be sure to hit subscribe and turn on the bell notifications, and that way you don't miss any future videos. If you want to organise a repair, get in touch at thecoder.repair. And if you need parts and supplies for these to fix your own console yourself, you can get those on my online store at consolefix.shop. But, with that being said, let's get into today's video. You probably don't give a damn about what I've got to say, but just hear me out for a minute, alright? We all know that those sweaty little douchebags with cheesy fingers, living in the mom's basement, drinking Red Bull and simping over TikTok losers are gonna break the console. And you and I both know that you're too cheap to buy off eBay, you're too impatient to wait for AliExpress, and you're just about smart enough to avoid Amazon completely. You can admit it, because I'm exactly the same. That's why I started my online store, consolefix.shop. I'll sell every part you'll need to fix the Xbox One, Series S, Series X, PS4, PS5 and Nintendo Switch consoles. So why not give me the money instead of some random dude on eBay? At least if I have it, you know it's not going to waste on some stupid thing like promoted eBay listings or food for the kids or something. If you give me your money instead, I'll promise I'll use it on useful things, like buying views on TikTok. So before you decide to go to one of the more popular sites and line the pockets of some fat cat loser, take a look at my online store. Check out the link in the video description or the top pinned comment and get 10% off any order over £25 during checkout. Alright, now you can go back to watching this douchebag on YouTube trying to fix something.
You can't say stuff like that in an advert, dude.
You're not my dad, dude. Don't tell me what to do.
That's what you think, Phil.
Wait, what? Mom? So, rather than covering this up, I'm just going to remove the top plate just so as I don't have to keep covering it up. But the customer dropped this off in person and he showed me what he meant by the fan being wrong, and he's absolutely correct. So this has been to another repair shop, and unfortunately, well, I'll say unfortunately, this is actually rather annoying. They've put the wrong fan in and they've also caused damage to the fan connector in the process. So this is a 1200 series PlayStation 5. It's the, I think, 1216A. Yep, 1216A, which is the third revision, and basically it's supposed to have a longer fan, or this cable is supposed to be longer. And what they've done is they've forced they've put the wrong fan in, so they've basically screwed him over in that way. They've put the wrong fan in and they've stretched it, so basically it's causing the connector to have stress on it and it's pulling it to the one side, which is really, really annoying to see because, well, they've basically taken his fan. Yeah, I don't know where it's been, unfortunately. I don't know what company's had this. I don't know what's been done to it. But, yeah, the first thing I'm going to do before I try anything at all is I'm going to remove this fan because it will power on without the fan. But I'm going to remove the fan because I don't want it, you know, causing any issues and stuff. So I'll get that out. Unfortunately, I don't think I have any more of these fans for the 1200 series. So that's going to be a problem. But what I have said to the customer, if I don't have a fan, I can technically extend these wires and I can make it safe with some heat shrink tubing and stuff like that. I can extend those wires, and as far as I know, the pinout is the same on them. So theoretically it should be okay, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'll have to double check. But yeah, theoretically it should be okay if I just extend the wires and, you know, put some extra wire on them just to make it longer, and then cover it up with some heat shrink tubing and stuff like that just to protect it or to make it safe. So yeah, that's going to be the plan if I don't have one. Okay, we do have a 1 second and then off, and this has been dropped. I did hear a noise when I tried to turn this on. The disk drive laser tried to realign itself. Let's try that again. Yeah, that is trying to realign itself. So the fan isn't what's causing the issue. So what I plan to do with this first of all is obviously, you know, try and figure out what's going on with the power issue. So I can connect this up to something called UART. And UART stands for Universal Asynchronous Receiver and Transmitter. And basically that's just like a terminal window that gives us error codes which we can use to help fault find and diagnose the console. So hopefully, we can use that to figure out what's going on, and that should save us some time. There are quite a few screws missing out of this, but I've got enough screws where I can just throw a few screws in if I need to. It looks like UART has already been connected up on this. So I am going to just... Why is there a screw there? That's not... That's not meant to be there. It's supposed to be one of these long, thin ones. Never mind. Not expecting great things on this one, I'm going to be honest with you. But yeah, it looks like UART has already been connected on this because these solder points have been desoldered. So yeah, we'll see. But I'm going to connect up to UART. I'll go under the microscope and just show you how I'm going to do that. So if we take a look at the board itself, where we've got all of these connectors here, so we've got a disk connector just here, disk drive connector just here. We've got the fan connector, which that is now loose. I'm going to have to do something about that. We've also got the disk drive power connector, but in the middle of those, we've got some solder points here. And these solder points are what we're going to use to connect up to UART. So you can see that these have been wicked away. These have normally got solder on them. So that's telling me that someone's already tried UART on this. But we're going to try ourselves. So if we go on to the UART wiki, this is a UART wiki which I am in the process of, well, basically developing. And obviously it's a community effort, so if you want to contribute to this, please by all means go ahead and contribute to it. But basically we've got a few guides on here at the minute, and if we look here on the PS5 guides and the UART setup and debugging for PS5, you'll see that we've got a page here with all of the pinouts and instructions on how to connect the CH341A to the PlayStation 5, and then we've got the PS5 revisions. So we need the PS5 EDM03X, and if we just look at this picture, as you'll see there, we've got 2 points and then we've got a ground point. So we've got TX to RX. So this is the TX point on the PlayStation 5, and this is the RX point on the PlayStation 5, and these need to be flipped on your UART reader. It doesn't have to be a CH341. I'm not using a CH341, but as long as you put the TX from the board onto the RX for the reader, and the RX on the board to the TX on the reader, and then obviously connect ground to ground, then you should get a connection and it should be fine. So that's what we're going to do. So the first thing I need to do is just tin up these solder points. So we have this one just here, and this one just here. So these are the TX and RX points. And then if we just tin up a ground point as well, so we'll use this one here. There we are. And then we can go ahead and just solder these wires. So if we look on my UART reader, we've got ground, which is going to be the green wire. We have the TX line, which is the yellow wire, and RX, which is the orange wire. So the RX wire, that's this orange wire here, that needs to go to this middle pin, just like that. It doesn't have to be a great connection. You'll notice I'm not even really fussed about using flux. We need the TX line, which is my yellow wire. That's going to go here, if I can get a contact on it. Just make sure that the wires don't short out across each other, because you'll cause crosstalk. And then we just need a ground, just like that. Beautiful. There we go. So once that's done, we can connect this up to the PC. So I've got a USB cable right here. That's picked up on the PC. Excellent. And then we just need to apply power to the console, and that should pick up on the PC now. So I'll go back to that, and I'm going to load up my UART software. This is software that I developed. I am going to be working on this to add some stuff that the community have added to it, but it is open source on GitHub. But if we just press option 1, and then I'm going to select COM13, which is option 4 for me. Yours may vary, or your results may vary rather. And it's not picking up. Okay. We're not getting a UART connection. Let's try con 1 because it's registering this twice. No. Okay. Let me just make sure I haven't made a boo-boo. Oh, I have made a boo-boo. Yeah. Oh, I've made a boo-boo. I've got these wires, these solder points mixed up because I was looking at the board upside down. Well, thank goodness for editing, eh? Right, that should be correct. But then again, I still might have got the wires mixed up. I'll try it though. I think I've got the wires backwards now. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so we have an 80810001 error code. And we also have a C00C0002 VRM controller failure. So these automatically pull the information from the database, which is included with the software. The software is completely free, but you can also search them on UART Wiki as well. So you can see there, so it's got the VRM inspect MOSFET 641, so if we find that on the page, and we get voltage regulator module controller failure, inspect the 6414A located side A below the SIE, inspect the Infineon 16 phase PWM controller, write a fuse 7001, system beeps once, blue light for 1 second, then shuts off. Okay, so we have something to go on. So I'm just going to disconnect this from the UART reader. Just desolder this. It's taking a little longer than usual to solder and desolder things because I'm sick of burning sick of burning soldering iron tips out, so I've dropped my temperature down to 340. Let's just get rid of all of that, and I'm going to strip this down and get it all ready for inspection. Okay, so the area which was being referred to, the 6414 area, it was supposed to be below the Sony Interactive Entertainment logo, the SIE logo. The SIE logo is up here on this board, in particular on the EDM 033 board, or the 03X boards in general, right? So what it's referring to is where it was. Ooh, what is that? Please do not tell me that is flux. Oh no. Oh no. Please, 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 please don't tell me that's flux. Oh dear Lord. I think it's flux. I really hope someone hasn't reflowed this APU. It's all over the edge. But then the plastic's not melted, so what have they done? I'm not sure, but there's flux all around there. That's sticky. Right, okay, let's move on for now, but that's not good at all, is it? The area what it's referring to is around here, so there's a bunch of caps and stuff around here which have a tendency to fail. So we're going to look around here first of all to see if we've got any shorts and stuff around here. So I've got my multimeter set in continuity mode. And there's no short there. So I'm just going to look in this general area. No. I'll check those MOSFETs. So if I go into diode mode and put my red probe on ground, we get 0.41 there. That's ground. That's 0.42. 0.85. That's a bit high. considering that's 0.41. That's 0.42. Could be a potential issue, maybe. Let's have a look around here. Let's just see if we've got any shorts around here. So this is the Infineon IC that was being referred to. Okay, we've got a solder blob there. Why? Why do we have a solder blob there? Has someone tried to replace that? Someone has definitely replaced this cap. Why? What have they done to this? Okay, it's had a new HDMI port. Oh. Liquid metal. Okay. I'll clean that up in a minute. Oh god, they've reflowed everything, haven't they? Oh. They really have. They've reflowed everything. Like there's signs of flux around here. They've reflowed the APU. They've reflowed absolutely everything. And I think this is going to be a very, very short video, to be honest. I don't think that I'm personally going to be doing much with this. Yeah, that's been worked on. The BIOS IC. Have they just changed everything? Just like, why? Seriously, why? What are you doing, man? What are you doing, man? That's 16 ohms, that's fine. Apart from that liquid metal, I'm not finding a lot. No. Not finding much at all, am I? What? What's that? Nope. What's the deal with all of this crap on here? I don't know. But what is this? What on earth has someone done? What's this crap? Alright, well, I mean, we've got some liquid metal, so I'm going to clean that up. We've got some liquid metal spills, right? It's probably not the cause of the issue. I am going to clean it. So just a bit of isopropyl. I'm just going to scrape it off the board. So just get rid of that. I'm going to remove this. Just want to make sure that we've got none leaking around the edges. It doesn't appear to have. No. Okay. I am going to just try powering it on. So after we've done anything at all, we always want to just make sure just make sure that it doesn't change the behaviour at all. So, for example, that liquid metal, if that changes the behaviour, you know, I mean, it very well could be just down to that, right? Very, very doubtful, but it's possible. Let's just have a look. Interesting. It has changed the behaviour. But now it's just not turning on. But that's not down to that. You know what that's down to? Flux. Because these things are sensitive sallies. Watch this. Heat that up. Oh, maybe not. What? What's going on? What? What's going on? Hey. Knew it. Yeah. Sensitive Sally's. See? But anyway, that's still not working. So that didn't change it. I am going to just check a couple of areas. So let's just see if we've got a few voltage rails before we proceed. So voltage mode. 1 probe on ground. So I'll get my 5 volt rail there. I'll get a 3.3 volt rail there. I'll get 3.3 volts on the safe bridge. It's being a sensitive Sally again. It's annoying, that is. We get voltage on the RAM. We get 0.8 volts going to the APU. We get 2.5 volts. I get 3.3 volts down there. I get 5 volts. I get 12 volts there. I get 3.3 there. I get 5 volts on USB. I'll get 1.2 volts on the SSD controller. Yeah, I'm getting all voltage rails. This don't make a whole heap of sense. I get 5 volts on F7001. It don't make a whole heap of sense, this doesn't. Like, why it wouldn't turn on? I need more info off the customer. I need to find out what the original fault was with this, because we've got signs of the PCB being reflowed all over the place. We've got signs that the APU potentially had some heat on it, or some heat applied to it. And it's just exhibiting weird behaviour as well. Just like every time I put isopropyl alcohol on it, it stops it turning on unless I warm it up. And yeah, I mean, that's sort of normal, but not every time. It shouldn't do it every time. Like, you get it once or twice, but that's about it. But I think I need a bit more info off the customer. One thing I can do is just connect up the thermal cam and just see if anything sticks out at me. So I've got the Infrared P2 Pro here. There's a link in the video description to that. Not sponsored, but it is an absolutely fantastic camera. So let's just see if anything lights up. Right there. Okay. Let me just... Which one's my 0.8 volt rail? I think it's this one. No, it's not. It's that one. I'm going to give this 0.8 volts. I'm going to inject 0.8 volts into this. Why? Something gets really, really hot really, really quick. Or at least abnormally warm. No. Doesn't light up. Not drawing enough current. Okay, where is it? There. It's around this top corner here. So it's not really staying on long enough for me to pinpoint it, but it might be enough to know roughly where it is. Is that a crack? Maybe. Right, have a drink. Bit of IPA. Here it is. Somewhere here. There. That one. You. Right there. Watch this. Okay, watch this capacitor. See it? You. Again. 3, 2, 1. See that? Get rid of that. Just break that cap away. Forget about that. No one cares about you, Mr. Cap. Now what happens? Yes! Ha 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 ha! Oh hell yeah! Wow! That's insane. The power of the eyes, man. The power of the eyes, man. Come on. Tell me that's not a win. Woo! Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Alright, I need to turn this off. It's got no liquid metal on it. It's not got enough liquid metal on it, but tell me that's not a win, ladies and gents. That is absolutely freaking awesome, man. Just that millisecond of heat. A millisecond. That is freaking awesome, dude. Alright. Shut that down. We need to get this sorted. We can't leave that without a cap on there. These are APU caps and they are absolutely required for stability. Hell yes. Alright, let's get this thing back apart. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a new cap installed on there. And then I'm going to replace the liquid metal. Get all of that sorted. And hopefully this works. Little bit of flux there. Okay. So that's the area tinned up. Alright, that's that. Give that a clean. I cannot believe, out of all of those caps, that one failed. I have never seen that. Never seen that on a PlayStation 5. This is a first for me. That's unbelievable, man. I'm so happy that I decided to get the thermal camera out. Honestly, listen, I mean, fair enough, I received this thermal camera for free, right? So, it's the Infrared P2 Pro. It's absolutely tiny, but it's also absolutely fantastic. Yes, it's covered in flux, but yeah, honestly, it's absolutely fantastic. The amount of money this thermal camera has made me in the past couple of years. And yeah, fair enough, I received it for free when I first got it, and I did get paid to review it. But honestly, it's just such a blessing. I don't get paid to say anything good about it anymore, apart from a little bit of a kickback if you use my link. But trust me, you will not need another thermal camera. I do have a macro lens for it somewhere, for, you know, looking close up, which I could have probably used, but I don't think it stayed on for long enough, which is why we had to use, you know, a mixture between the thermal camera and isopropyl. But at the end of the day, I would not have found that without the thermal camera at all. I've got no chance, because there's so many components. It's just unbelievable. You know, you're not going to find it. There we go. Beautiful. It's just about getting a nice clean surface. Alright, there are a couple more things I need to do before I actually go ahead and get this put back together. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is remove this UART connector, or rather this UART reader. So I'll do that. I'll just desolder there. My ground wire actually broke away anyway. Doesn't matter. But that's that. And you couldn't see it. Of course you couldn't, because I'm a terrible YouTuber. Never mind. So the one thing I need to do is I need to get this connector secured. So I'm going to add some flux there. I'm going to add some flux there. So this connector had some strain on it. So I want to just basically fix this up a little bit. So I'm going to just add some solder to the ground anchor points. So we've got that one there. And that one there. It's just going to reinforce that connector a little bit. And just because I'm in the area anyway, I'm going to just add a bit of solder to these pins as well, just to make 100% sure that these are going to be solid. Yep, there we go. So I'll just reinforce all of that. I just want to make sure that we're not going to have any issues with this going forward. And then I can just go ahead and clean all of this up. There we go. Good stuff. So that's all done. Okay. And I have already looked for a replacement fan. Unfortunately, I don't have one. So I'm going to have to improvise a little bit and extend wires and stuff, but I'm not going to do that on camera because I don't advise people do it. This customer is very aware that I'm going to be doing that just to save him having to buy a new fan. But before I do that, I am going to contact the customer and try and get the customer to try and get his fan back off the company it went to, because what they've done, it's just out of order. It's unacceptable. They should be replacing that fan with the correct fan. Unfortunately, I don't have any for the 1200 at the moment. I can, like I said, improvise and extend the wires. I would rather not. I would rather the customer get in touch with the company who originally worked on it and say, look, you've put the wrong fan back in. I want my fan back. Like, at the end of the day, they're £40–50 fans. Like, they're not cheap. It's not like they cost, you know, £2 or £3. They're like £40–50 fans. And at the end of the day, the company's got no right to, you know, leave it like that. There's no way they didn't know. And I'm going to say it now. There's no way they didn't know. Because there's no way that they would have put that fan back and thought, that's perfectly normal to be that tight and stretching and stuff. No. No, there is no way on earth that company did not know. So I'll get in touch with the customer and I'll see if he wants to try and get the original fan back off the customer. Off the repair shop that he sent it to. But I don't know which repair shop that is. Otherwise, I would absolutely 100% call them out for it. Unfortunately, I just don't know who it is. But yeah, there we go. That's done. I'm going to need to sort out screws and stuff. Like this, half the screws are missing. Like the screws are missing out of this side of it as well. Oh, and now it's acting like a bitch again. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it? Honestly, these things are just so frustrating sometimes. Like, it's just unreal. This is probably happening because the safe bridge has been reflowed, to be honest. There you go. Now she's turning on. Didn't beep that time for some weird reason, but I don't know. Not sure why. But yeah, that is turning on. I'm going to get it all set up so as I can show you on the capture card that it's working. So I'll sort that out. I'll turn off HDCP and all of that good stuff. Alright. We have an issue with the HDMI cable. It's flickering when I move the cable. And it was doing that on my screen as well, so it's not the cable. It could be flux inside there, but it may need a HDMI port. I'll have to give it a full clean and stuff and find out. But yeah, it may need a cable. It may need a port, sorry, not a cable. Okay. Ah, that's why it didn't work. FIFA virus. 1180572. Okay, fair enough. Just wrong password, I guess. Cool. Good stuff. Let's make sure it picks up my Wi-Fi. It does. Good stuff. Right. What software version are we running? 9.6. So it does need an update, but that's not my job. Sorry, but I don't update PS5s. Unless someone's paying me to do it. And not because I'm a money grabbing YouTuber, even though I am. I don't update them because they might not want them updating. So yeah, anyway, there we go. That's working. And this job is now done. One tiny capacitor. Wasn't it insane how... well, I just couldn't find that that fault with the thermal camera. It's honestly the thing that God sent. Even though I don't believe in God, but never mind. Yeah, honestly, that thing, absolutely fantastic piece of kit. Highly recommend one in your toolbox if you do this for a living. But yeah, there'll be a link in the video description to that. Please use that link. I do get a little bit of a kickback. I get around about £15 every time someone uses my link to buy one of these, which is pretty good. So yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm going to leave it there for now. Thank you very much for watching. I do have a few more things I need to do to this. Like I said, I'm potentially going to need to extend this cable. And yeah, obviously I'll take care of that if I need to. So all I'll do is just snip these wires, solder the wires together and heat shrink it and stuff if I need to. But I'm going to get in touch with the customer and tell him to get in touch with the repair shop first before I do that. But yeah, that's going to be it for now. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Do you think that the repair shop intentionally stole the fan? I don't know. And yeah, let me know what you think about the repair as well. If you want to see more of this, don't forget to subscribe. If you need parts and supplies, you can buy those on my online store. And if you need a repair by a proper technician, you can book it in with me at thecodat.repair. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed it. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.